This is your before and after story. Southeastern College can help you prepare for a secure and fulfilling career in the growing healthcare field. We offer a wide range of careers to choose from. So whether you want to be a medical assistant, medical billing and coding specialist, nurse, surgical technologist, or another healthcare career, we've got you covered. Become a vital part of a healthcare team and make a real difference. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.
Just a heads up to you folks sitting with a notebook and pen. Mishki, the new podcast here in Garage Logic Land, is now coming out twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. If you're in fact scribbling this down, Wednesday is kind of tough to spell. It's not like it sounds. You want to spell it W-E-N-Z, but that, of course, would be a mistake. Friday is spelled just like it sounds. You're going to be okay there, but Wednesday's a bugaboo. Let me tell you, people, just a pain in the patootie. Jeez, it's hard.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic episode number 1600, number 1600.
AM 1600.
August 18th, 2025, 98 degrees on this day in 1976, and just a year later, isn't that funny the way nature works? It was 41 degrees on this day in 1977. And Josh, call him. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
I got an alert on my phone yesterday. Right in my backswing. And apparently many people in Ramsey County got the alert. And it was to tell me that everything's clear at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. There was police activity there, but everything's clear now.
Huh.
Okay, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why don't you just give me an alert then to say somebody just changed their shirt in Montana?
Well,
what was the point of telling me? I didn't get a prior alert that said stay away from the
shelter in
fairgrounds,
place? Shelter in place?
which I would not have done.
Right.
But
What
I didn't get
happened to that swing then?
Well, I probably hit it backwards.
You totally blamed it on the cell phone, too,
It's
didn't
not
you?
my fault.
Right.
You get a mulligan for that.
I'm a victim.
Yeah.
But what is the point of alerting me to tell me there's nothing going on at the fairgrounds? I can see if you want to alert me 30 minutes prior to that and say, hey, don't go near the fairgrounds. The coppers are busy tracking somebody down. Stay away. Okay, that's an alert.
What was the actual situation? Did you ever find out?
We had a series of gas station holdups yesterday, and at one point, the thieves were tearing around the fairgrounds or crashed their car or something. I don't know.
I can tell you, I just drove by the fairgrounds. There's nothing going on.
Right.
Yeah.
This just in.
Yeah, nothing going on.
Well, I can tell you why the fairgrounds. After the third robbery, authorities located the suspect vehicle and chased it into St. Paul, where the driver crashed near Pierce Butler Route and Pryor Avenue. Multiple people ran from the vehicle into nearby woods. They always run into the woods, don't they? And one suspect was arrested after a search. Okay, I'm glad our guys are out there doing the Lord's work and tracking down these thieves. But I was a little puzzled as to why I got an alert telling me that, hey, everything's all right at the fairgrounds. I just said, well, great. I'm glad that everything's great. But
so you gave it the noted.
That's all you could say to that was noted. Thank you. It was noted. I have much more information on the Yardbirds' appearance at Dayton's on August 5, 1966.
A lot of listeners that attended said event.
An emailer sent me this. This was something assembled by a guy named Peter Stanfield. And it was their first appearance in their debut U.S. tour with Jimmy Page for 2 afternoon shows at the 8th floor auditorium. People were wondering where they held it there. It was at the 8th floor auditorium. Outside of showcase gigs like those at Hullabaloo in Hollywood back at the start of 1966, the Yardbirds U.S. shows that year were mostly as part of some bigger event, like this fashion bash at Dayton's, which was called Super Youthquake.
Okay, stupid name.
This was the Youthquake. And the Yardbirds here from England, that's who will entertain you at our SOOPA, S-O-O-P-A-H.
All right.
Oh, they were being clever back then, too.
SOOPA fashion show. And that's a Dayton's ad. Then there's a picture of Dayton's, and here's a picture of Jimmy Page. And the Super Youthquake was a month-long back-to-school bash. The Yardbirds no more than a blip in the scheme of things. At best, they were part of a promotional gambit, another piece of English culture, like a fall Carnaby Street window display. I believe that maybe going back to school in 1966, there was quite a fashion influence by the Brits. Wasn't Twiggy kind of popular around then? And
I'm seeing Austin Powers
Austin
in my
Powers.
mind.
For sure. Yeah.
And then I'm looking at some of the ads. Direct from London, the Yardbirds, Dayton's. It's instant turn on, the Yardbirds. Here's more Super Youthquake. It's all fashion. This all would have been in the, here, I'll hold it up. These ads would have been in the local papers.
Anything about Shagadelic?
No.
Okay.
And then here's some more. Here's some pictures of, forget the Yardbirds. These are just people standing around wearing the new fashions.
It was an event, for sure.
It was a Super Youthquake.
Right.
Keith Relf? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Lead singer.
What did he go on to do?
He was electrocuted in a bathtub. So you shouldn't laugh
Whoa.
at that. He died in an accident in his bathtub.
Man.
Catch the toaster?
Wait a
Is
minute,
he
was
the guy
that-
who had asthma?
That I do not know.
Johnny.
Because Kelsey sent me something about one of them who died a horrible death from asthma, and I think it might have been Ralph.
Oh, so he got electrocuted and then couldn't breathe?
Yeah.
Whatever?
Yes.
Let's-
That's it. That's it.
So, Johnny, are you saying he tried to take his own life?
No, he had the bad asthma.
But he got electrocuted in a bathtub?
Yeah, but the asthma was so bad he couldn't overcome the jolt or something to the heart.
Gotcha.
He died in his home at the age of 33 from electrocution while playing an ungrounded electric guitar discovered by his son Daniel. He also was taking medications commonly used for respiratory diseases at the time. The drugs may have led to tachycardia and or arrhythmia, which contributed to his inability to survive the shock.
Well, and here's a headline from the Minneapolis Star on August 8th, 1966. Training, who needs it? Music just happens for Yardbird Quintet. So they were assumed to be unorganized by the local folks here in Minneapolis. They were assumed to be possibly not very talented or whatever. Little did they know who the future superstars were, Beck and Page and what have you. They were the Yardbirds were in Minneapolis, but a day before moving on to Davenport, Iowa, and then Chicago for a meeting with Cynthia Plastercaster.
What?
I interviewed her once.
Cynthia Plastercaster. But here's how times have changed.
Pamela DeBars, wasn't it?
She took a mold of Beck's leg. I think the Plastercasters went on to take molds of other things.
They did, yeah.
As morality seeped away in America. But in 1966, Cynthia Plastercaster was satisfied with a mold of Beck's leg.
I believe the Plastercaster was the inspiration behind the wax hand exhibit at the state fair.
After the Dayton's gig, you could buy the demonstrator Fender amp they'd used or pick up a Yardbird-type fuzz tone. And here are the ads. The ads are offering, come out, there's 7 used and 5 demonstrator amps. I was right. It was B-sharp. Jimmy Lopez had the store called B
Are
Sharp.
you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
In Richfield?
No, it was on Broadway.
Yeah.
You could go
No, it
to
was-
B Sharp.
Yeah,
It
right,
was on
right.
Central.
Yeah,
Yep,
or Central,
Central,
whatever.
yep,
You
yep.
could go to B Sharp and get the amps that the Yardbirds used because obviously they were traveling the country with no equipment whatsoever.
Sure.
So they would show up in Minneapolis and you'd call the big music store. At the time, the hippest was B Sharp. And I suppose they took all the stuff over there and set it up. And then after the show, they had a sale. And if Johnny Heidt was around, he could have bought a Yardbird amp and guitars.
And did they have about 30 of them and said, yep, this is the same one they used?
There it is.
So that's all I have left, but I thought you all would like to have known that.
May I ask a dumb question?
Yes.
Was Dayton's was 8 floors?
Oh, well, have you ever seen the building?
No, I guess I don't recall.
Have you ever
it.
been in downtown Minneapolis?
Yes.
Well, there's a big building there on the corner of about
I'm aware,
Nicollet and...
but I assumed it was maybe one or... No, come on here. Just hear me
No,
out.
I'm on your side on this, Chris.
I just didn't think it was 8 stores. I figured they leased out other floors to other businesses, but I didn't realize it was 8 floors of shopping.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. For you
I'm
young
sorry.
people.
Are you sorry you asked?
I
yet?
really, really am.
Yeah.
The idea that Dayton's would have leased out room is preposterous. Dayton's was so big
How big
How
was
big
it?
was
and
Dayton's?
so dominant
It really was.
that was it. It was Dayton's.
Gotcha.
That's it. If you wanted the latest shirt, the kind that the Yardbirds wore, that's where you had to go.
Got it.
If you wanted the right color pants, that's where you had to go.
I'm sorry
Chris,
I wasn't really learned up on
was 8
1965 shopping.
Yeah.
That extremely stupid question that was so cynically answered just informed a whole generation of kids who had no idea. So thank you for your good radio work there. It's obvious you know how to do your job.
I took one for the team, Ken.
Yep.
And
Jumped on the grenade.
It was 8 floors of such prosperity that the Dayton family was extraordinarily enriched, and then they formed Target, and Dayton's was a big deal.
Sure.
Big deal. You straight on that now?
Oh, we're good.
And on the 8th floor at Christmas, they had the big Christmas show.
Oh, man,
and
that was the place to be seen.
puppets and, things like that. And
It's a
they had
scene right out of
restaurants in
Christmas
there,
Story.
and, it was a big deal. So I did. It's a little,
Joe, noted.
You know that?
I'm afraid to talk about
Joe, you
anything
should
else.
be. I would love to have you as a tour guide somewhere where you treat the people you're informing like complete, utter jackasses.
Like us.
Now, listen, you idiots. What happened here was, and go on to tell them about Fort Snelling.
There's no basement at the
Capitol.
Alamo.
Just completely insult virtually everybody that's listening.
Listen, you morons. You had 8 floors, all right?
Yes.
And on the
I
8th
would-
floor was an auditorium where you had groups there.
Joe,
and,
I would pay, if you charge $10, I'd pay you 20.
Yeah.
That's how much I'd enjoy that.
it'd be pretty good, wouldn't it?
It would.
Joe Souchere, tour guide.
Yeah,
You jerk.
you moron.
How do you not know that, kid?
Well, I got to tell you something. For you not to know that Dayton's was 8 floors is, I'm sorry, you deserved a cynical response.
Do you not see what he did there? Are we going to have an on-air meeting?
No, we
right
already
now?
had one that's got me terrified.
What
I
was the
don't know-
restaurant up there?
I don't know what I'm doing
What do you mean,
anymore.
you?
Kenny, years ago, when I had a sit down with a gentleman that may or may not be in this room, he said, sometimes when you interview somebody, you ask a question that you know the answer to.
Yeah.
You
Remember
didn't
those?
know the answer.
Honestly, in this case, I did not.
I know you didn't.
That's why I asked it. But
I know when you know. And I knew you didn't know when you knew.
I saw the town ball in his eyes.
But I guarantee. In fact, email Joe if you also didn't know that there was an 8th floor at Dayton's in 1965.
They had a nice restaurant with those great popovers.
Email us if you don't care.
Yeah.
Poll
And then
question.
email us if you want to know the time and temp.
Yeah,
What
I
year-
wonder if I get the time and down.
What year did I say they were in town?
65.
Was it 65?
66.
66, sorry.
Yeah.
Just the summer before, the Beatles were in town.
That's right.
They played at Met Sports Center.
I wonder how
Met,
they felt.
Met Stadium.
Their opening gig for the United States, 2 shows in a row, at a department store
on a Sunday afternoon.
How demoralizing.
Oh, on a Saturday. On a Saturday.
That just seems depressing.
Was it a Saturday?
What do you think the tour bus looked like? Was it that bad double-decker bus, or not the double-decker, but the...
You know why I have figured out why the Beatles were successful. You all may think you know, but I'm your tour director, and I'm just going to set you all straight.
On account of you want to know why?
Because on account of you want to know why?
Why is that, Joe?
They, just a minute, I'm looking for the date that the Yardbirds were here.
Suchi Tours, take a tour if you dare.
On Monday, August 8th. They were here on a Saturday. And then they went on to meet Plastercaster.
The Beatles?
The Beatles were popular because I think they, despite things we've heard over the years, they must have gotten along together. Now, here's why I know that. I was reading today, I don't know why the Star Tribune printed it today. The anniversary of their appearance here is August 21st, 1965. Not today. But anyway, the variety section, which used to be the women's section,
right,
is full of Beatles stuff today. 4 limousines were sent to the airport, presumably to take each one of them. They all got into the same one.
Oh.
There's your answer.
Okay.
Right there. That's why they were successful. They didn't pull the Eagles thing where they all had to have their own limo to go to the
That's not how we go to shows, is it?
No. We just get there any old way we can on our own.
The 5 of us take 4 vehicles, Ken, and we all see who draws the short straw to take Joe.
Right.
Usually it's Ruck.
Usually it's me.
I have a great note from Andrew Klein, who has a really great question about the Democratic Socialists of America. I wish we would have thought of it. Maybe we did, but we didn't state it as clearly as he does. How are the Democratic Socialists of America not treated as a separate political party from the regular Democrats? How is it that the DFL, in Minnesota's case, is just stepped aside and let members of the DSA infiltrate, take over, and run for positions under their party's banner? Couldn't the DFL simply reject DSA candidates and force them to run as a third party?
Interesting.
Which would then subject them to the same federal party rules as the Green Party and the Libertarians, which can never gain traction because they can't get more than 5% of the vote threshold for federal party funding. But then that begs the question, what if the DSA did meet the threshold and get recognized as an official third party?
Boy.
Is winning elections so overwhelmingly important, I'll answer that, yes, that you're willing to open the door to unapologetically socialist candidates? From the shadows of North Dakota's tallest buildings, Andrew from Fargo. That's a great question. There's a lot of grousing right now. There's a lot of grumbling and grousing in Minneapolis between people who fancy themselves traditional DFLers and these bold newcomers, the DSA. But this guy's right. What has the DFL done to say, this is our convention, that you're not wanted here?
Case in point, they all got stirred up over the weekend when Amy endorsed Jacob Fry. Did you see all that reaction?
But Amy would pass herself off as a traditional DFLer.
But that's just the like.
Well, who got angry?
All the DSA,
the DSA people,
for sure.
Well, but they should be that their anger should suffer uniquely. They shouldn't be angry insofar as that affects them. That affects their standing in the DFL.
But doesn't Amy's endorsement and the governor's endorsement seem like a low-key way of saying we don't endorse democratic socialists?
Yes, I think you're right. But I think this guy's point is even sharper. Why isn't there some firm statement from the DFL saying, look, we have nothing to do with the DSA. We want no part of them, and they're not invited to our convention. That's a DFL convention, not a DSA convention. This guy from Fargo, he's trying to draw the distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amy and Cockwomble went about it the way you would expect. They just gave you're right, that's their way of saying We're DFLers, although I don't trust Cockwomble. He'd be a socialist in a heartbeat. I think Amy will go which way the wind blows.
Yeah.
But right now, the wind, she thinks she's better off as a traditional DFLer, and she's probably right.
I can't believe I'm about to do this, but let's give him just a tiny bit or an ounce of credit, I should say.
Ooh, Cockwomble?
And Amy saying that, boy, if Fateh wins, this city's over with. Do you think maybe they sense some of that?
I don't think Cockwomble would care. I think Amy senses that.
Because at least she's from here. She has a vested interest.
Cockwomble is, he's been part of the destructing process anyway.
And he'll be in Washington or wherever else his next stop is.
No one should elect that fool for anything.
I agree, but
he's dangerous.
Would it be a fair comparison to say, no, I'm already seeing through my question. My question, fair comparison for the Republicans and Trump, or no?
What do you mean? Help me understand your question better.
I think or no would be the answer, because the Republican Party seemed to embrace President Trump. So I think no is the answer to that question.
Well, there is no DSA version of the Republican Party.
Correct. But for a while, the party was very, very fractured leading up to, I'm going to say, the nomination. Remember that? It was Trump Republicans and Rhino Republicans.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Trumper when we return.
Oh, boy.
Huh? Right now, I want to tell you about Bradshaw and Bryant personal injury attorneys. If you're like me and others, you may not know what to do if you're ever injured in an accident, because it gets complicated. Insurance companies and adjusters can be difficult to deal with. So you need a team. Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant and his team are there to explain your rights, represent you, help you through a tough time. Mike is a super lawyer that's recognized by Minnesota Law and Politics, which is the credible source for such awards. I hope you're never in an accident, but if you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant at 800-770-7008 or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Your case evaluation, of course, is free, and you're going to need that team to help you. And please, Bradshaw and Bryant does not want you to be part of the problem. Don't text and drive. I see that every day, by the way.
Yep.
Oh, my word. Don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
You don't have to run that video, Chris, because I'm going to talk about a product from Seafoam. I don't know if I've mentioned this in the last 6 months. I ended up using some Seafoam spray top engine cleaner over the weekend, working on an old carb that's been sitting on the shelf forever. I realized I haven't talked about this product in quite a long time. I call it a carb cleaner, but it really isn't. Yeah, it does. It works excellent as a carb cleaner, but the Seafoam spray, it actually does so much more. You use the Seafoam spray to clean and lubricate critical upper engine areas where fuel cleaners can't reach. It's not a gas tank additive. It works through the engine's upper air intake. It dissolves harmful deposits and residue buildup from the intake valves, combustion chamber areas. You can help your engine run cleaner and last longer. Spray it right through the gas throttle bar body, or the carb, right down the yap, as they say. And the best part, it's safe in all engines, so it's you can use it in anything. Just it's just another seafoam product that you should keep in your chem cabinet if you do any kind of light or heavy duty maintenance around the shop or the garage. It's good for your cylinders. It'll make them happy, and it's another fine product from our friends at Seafoam.
The only thing I was going to say about the Trumper, based on the meeting he had Friday in Alaska with Putin, is that I don't know anything more today than I did, say, 2 weeks ago. So it must be terribly difficult to attempt to negotiate with a murdering psychopath like Putin. And I hope today bears some fruit. Zelensky showed up with a whole gang of Europeans, and they're meeting with Trump at the White House. It sounds to me like Putin is still has the upper hand in this deal.
Sure.
By far.
That he's saying, look, I think Putin would take as much country as he could possibly get. I think he's crazy. I think he's insane, clinically insane. And how do you deal with him?
Is him just being open to a meeting a sign of progress, at least?
Well, it seems to me the only one who stood to benefit from that whole meeting in Alaska was Putin. You're meeting in a country, or Alaska used to be owned by Russia. It was Seward's Folly. We bought it from Russia for $7.5 million in 1867. There's still is the word diaspora? Is that the word? Diaspora. There's still a Russian diaspora in Anchorage. There are delis where you can get only Russian stuff, and there's a Russian restaurant. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. And so I think Putin took great glee in appearing in Alaska. Great glee.
My fantasy didn't play out where they'd get in a closed room together and Trump would plug him a couple of times in the forehead.
No, that didn't play out, and that wouldn't have bothered me either.
Right. That would have been fun news. We would have had our shows written for us for a couple of weeks.
A lot has been made about the fact that a red carpet was rolled out. I personally would not have done that, but then I talked to some people who weren't bothered by it.
Well, that's an interesting... What would the carpet be? Would there be a carpet?
I wouldn't have had a carpet.
That'd be one of those plastic runners that Grandma would put down on her floor in the winter.
Hey, don't sit on that furniture.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the underside would it was like walking on nails.
Yeah.
Don't
bring your Russian mud in here.
I like America.
Me too.
I like America, right. and I'm rooting for it. But I think Putin is bordering on being more and more dangerous. And not only to America and the world. And I wish Trump would... I'm not satisfied with the way Trump handled it, although I have to claim I don't know what it's like to deal with a psychopath. I don't know what that's like.
Can I help you paint a picture?
Yeah.
We had so much fun on Friday with our Mysterian Roundup segment.
Yes.
I think that might have to continue, I would assume, going forward.
I would think so.
Let's play What If Trump Hadn't Met with Putin and it was somebody else.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe.
All right, I got it.
Next to
See, the issue isn't here. A rusted out bed frame from a junkyard would have been a better president than Harris. That's not the issue. The issue is...
I like how that analogy changes.
It changes every day.
I love it.
It does. A leaky gas all the time.
Yeah. A rotted banana found on the curb would be a better president than Harris.
A 5-gallon pail with no bottom.
Right. That isn't the issue. The issue is, can Trump get the job done? Can he put Putin in his place? Because Putin deserved to be put in his place. He's a murdering psychopath. He deserves to not be on Earth, much less run anything. Now, I don't know if you got rid of if you got rid of Putin, would you have worse people than Putin? I don't know.
Oof.
But nothing came of that. The other thing that bothered me is that Trump changed his mind 15 times in the week just leading up to the meeting. Well, if the meeting doesn't go the way I want, I'm out of there in 2 minutes. Well, that didn't happen, and nothing happened. Right. If there's going to be strong concessions on Russia, well, there are no concessions. Well, we have to have a ceasefire. No, we don't really need a ceasefire. Well, which is it?
We're going to start taking Fridays off.
Yeah.
In the summer.
Hey, not to change the subject, just a sidebar here. I stumbled upon a piece today that I thought would interest you. I forgot to tell you about it before the show. I'm sorry. It's from Just the News. Headline, Trump vows to lead effort to end mail-in ballots. Did you see anything about this?
I have not.
I did. It was this morning. I actually have it in the news, too.
Oh, good,
thank God
good.
John has it.
I don't even know. I've tried to figure out what Just the News is, and I don't know their angle. But they seem to be sympathetic to Trump. Well, I could be wrong.
Is it local?
No, that's Bring Me the News. That's the local.
That's the former Channel 11.
Oh, this is called Just the News.
Yeah. And they don't have one of those About Us tabs, so you have to.
What does he want? Should we go to the schoolhouse and vote?
I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of all mail-in ballots, and also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and serious controversial voting machines.
Well, then how are we supposed to vote? How are we supposed to count them?
Well, you're the one that always preaches about voting and stuff like that.
I do, but when I get
fire under you.
But when I get to the voting place, there is some technology involved. Are we supposed to remove that too? I mean, I have to put my ballot in a machine.
Yeah.
Is he contesting the validity of that machine?
I think he doesn't like the curtain that goes around.
No more curtains. There aren't any curtains.
We're going to get rid of curtains.
It was like going to confession 50 years ago. You'd go in and you'd slide the curtain behind you, and you were alone in the dark.
Were your legs showing?
Hey, now.
Just your feet. John, what do you have? Just cut to that now. What do you have in your news about that?
Let me scroll down.
I'll be honest, it kind of seems like he's doing this to favor his votes for him and his people further down the road.
President Trump this morning on Truth Social with a long post pledging to issue an executive order to end the use of mail-in ballots and voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, a move likely to spark legal challenges by many states. He said on the post, I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots, and also, while we're at it, as Kenny said, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and so seriously controversial voting machines. Trump, who has promoted the false narrative that he, not Democrat Joe Biden, won the 2020 election, has long cast doubt on the security of mail-in ballots and urged his fellow Republicans to try harder to overhaul the U.S. voting system. Oddly enough, Trump voted by mail.
Okay.
He also said we're the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. Is that true?
Nearly 36 countries, Kenny, from Canada to Germany and South Korea, allow some form of mail-in ballots. More than half of them, though, do place some restrictions on which voters qualify. So there's about 36. I think I read 35 was the exact number this morning.
I need to go back to the beginning of the story, John. Did he say he wished to do this by executive order?
Yes, he did, as a matter of fact.
I think one of the problems we're facing in this country is Congress has not done a strong enough job of maintaining the separation of powers. The founders did not imagine a president who could do whatever he wanted to do whenever he felt like it. Yeah. That's not the way it was set up.
That's an interesting question. I'm looking up when that came about.
And Congress is not doing a strong enough job of reining in his whims. He's not supposed to be able to behave whimsically. Presidents are not supposed to behave arbitrarily and off the cuff.
Uh-oh. You ready?
Yeah.
Executive orders have been a part of the U.S. presidential practice since the beginning of the nation with President George Washington.
No, I know that, but not to the extent that they're used today.
I think it used to just be a handful, didn't it? Usually
it had to be something really major.
Yeah.
He just couldn't decide how you're going to vote. That wasn't imagined by the founders. And Congress Congress has to stand up and say, whoa. How are you rationalizing this? This doesn't really meet the guidelines here. Or are the guidelines just disappearing?
The line keeps moving.
May I ask a question, Jared? You said he voted
by mail. President Trump did?
Correct.
Wasn't there a photo, though, of him looking over at what Melania was?
Well, he voted twice.
Or was that from a different election?
I think it was probably a different
Okay,
election.
it wasn't this most recent one. Okay.
Yeah.
The Emancipation Proclamation was an executive order.
There you
Kind
go.
of an important one.
That was an important one.
I would say that was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FDR used it.
Yeah. Used it. I mean, maybe once.
Some related to the Great Depression, then, of course, World War II. Also.
Can you, as long as you found this much, can you find the definition of when it may be used?
That seems like a bit much to ask.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
I don't even know how to phrase that.
Weren't you the one, though, was it a week or two ago, that said that you have somewhat of an issue with the mail-in?
Well, I'm not a
process?
fan at all of mail-in voting, but I also believe that it's been established, and I don't know that he can just whimsically say it shouldn't exist. I don't like it.
You're saying both things can be true.
Two things can be true.
Gotcha.
I wish we just
showed up.
Had a voting day.
It should be a national holiday.
That's it.
Let's
There
go.
you go.
This
National
might be
holiday.
an answer, the answer you were looking for. Of course, it's AI overview, so take it with a grain of salt. Executive orders should be used to manage the federal government, implement existing laws, and respond to emergencies, but not create new laws or override the Constitution or existing statutes. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Again, that's AI, though.
And I think Congress could keep a sharper eye on it, and they don't.
There is a part of this story. Apparently, he telegraphed it on Friday. He was talking to Sean Hannity after the meeting.
I bet that was hard hitting.
Well, he said, quote, this is President Trump speaking, Vladimir Putin, smart guy, said you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. So apparently he and Vlad must have talked about
Putin's just in favor of throwing his opponents out the window.
He knows how to get it.
There you go.
Allegedly.
Wait a minute.
Of a moving plane, allegedly.
I mean, our guy has found wisdom in Putin's belief that you can't have an honest election with mail-in ballots.
That's right, Joe.
Yeah, and by the way, Putin secured 87% of the vote in his 2024 election. Most experts see that as a rigged election.
No.
He looks so honest.
Well, it was rigged if he didn't want to get shoved out a window.
That's right.
Or poisoned.
Or poisoned or sent to the gulag.
Right.
Those
By the
opponents
way,
always have bad luck, don't they?
You know who's being sent to the gulag? The most recent group being sent to the gulag? Twerkers.
Really?
Good-looking Russian gals who apparently have been twerking in church.
I didn't know they still
In
did
church?
that.
In church.
Twerking for the Lord.
It's a church that Putin goes to, delusionally. And he said, send them twerkers to the salt mines.
Wow.
So there they go.
Let me ask you something about Trump leading up to the big summit. How much should one butter up your opponent or the person you're meeting beforehand?
That's where I'm sure people prone to believe Trump is a miracle worker would believe it's all the way he negotiates a deal. It's the art of the deal, man. I don't know the answer to the question.
I don't know if it's necessary, but if maybe you shouldn't just say anything at all. You know what I'm saying? Because remember what you told those two clowns that were running for the governorship at the state fair a couple of years ago?
Burke and Jensen?
Yeah, and your opening salvo.
Yeah, that was...
It was the equivalent of punching him right in the nose. Yeah. Now, if they had known where you were going with that opening question, do you think they would have showed up?
No.
Yeah.
Kenny, as Buford T. Justice once said, that was an attention getter.
How far in advance did you plan that, or did that just happen?
I believe that just happened, Kenny.
That was good, Joe.
I don't know about Dr. Scott Jensen, but I do know about Matt Burke because I talked to him after the show.
Was he a little upset?
He took it with a grain of salt. He said, I know what Joe is like, and you know what? It's fine. I can hold my own.
Well, he can't, really.
Well,
so...
All right, let's go one more nail in the
he was
coffin.
literally saying women should remain barefoot and in the kitchen.
I wasn't
well, not
nuts.
literally, but kind of. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Sort of.
Not those exact words.
See, GL, let's have a review.
Here we go. We got a review time.
Let's go. GL is GL.
You got it. I wish I had side.
It's not.
Give me that to me again.
We're GL. We're not left or right. We're GL.
It's common sense.
We're trying to have a functioning world, just like our imaginary town in Garage Logic is a functioning town.
Our imaginary.
It's an in our imagination. It's functional.
So you know we're on the right track.
Yeah.
But you have to admit, the greatest amount of listeners we have are conservative-minded. We don't have a lot of Democratic Socialists listening to us.
For some reason, that is true, I think, of the podcast and radio industry. That the listenerships skew conservative as opposed to left. Now, in other words, name me a leftist podcaster who is renowned.
Al, what's his name?
How about Stern?
Stern.
No,
Al,
he's being driven out of business.
Okay,
but he woke himself to death.
But at one point, he was the biggest name.
No. At one point, he had nothing to do with politics.
Franken.
The minute
Franken, thank you.
Not successful.
Air America was.
It was not successful.
Well, that was radio, too.
The minute Putin,
Holy
Stern,
crap.
Putin, same thing. The minute Stern went political is when he fell out of favor.
He dug his own grave. There's no doubt about it.
When he was pre-politics, and you didn't know where the hell he stood.
Right, when he was interviewing strippers.
He was popular as hell.
Right.
Well, okay, move that into the TV world. All the late night hosts,
They're all
show
done.
The show Matthew watches every morning with those broads.
Oh, The View.
The View.
Yeah.
None of them are working. The View apparently still works, but
well, when you stack them up against, like, say, Rogan.
Yeah. Well, you just answered your own question.
With the question.
Anywho.
Yeah. I don't know. Think they talk about this stuff in Sioux Falls?
Yeah, probably. They settle. That's a real town, too, with the real mayor.
Excuse me?
Yikes.
They have almost 300,000 people.
They got a lot of people.
It's about as many as we have. Contact the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. If you're considering moving your business, expanding your business, starting a new business, you might want to consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota, best small city for business and careers as determined by Forbes magazine. Low business costs and high quality of life, no state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, no limits to what your business can achieve, and entrepreneurs are welcoming. It's a growing, well-educated workforce with that central location and developed industrial parks, so that cost of business is easy to handle compared to, well, for example, Minnesota. Contact the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. They'll get you in touch with the tools and resources, and that'll make you realize you've stopped searching for the perfect business site. You can start growing in Sioux Falls. SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
A storage container as a cabin? Why not? Yeah, I've seen it done on numerous off-the-grid TV shows. One fella put log skins and a sloped roof on two containers sitting side by side. It actually turned out amazing. You can also use them as a shed, an office, or, hear me out, this might be weird, storage. Of course, I'm talking about AnywayStorage.com right now. No mice, no critters, no weather damage. If you need it, if you need secure storage, AnywayStorage.com can help with a variety of containers for sale and for rent. Now, this is a Minnesota-based location with, it's a Minnesota-based business with locations all over Grand Rapids, Stewartville, Ellendale. They offer 10, 20, and 40-foot containers, sealed, lockable, perfect for you folks that need secure storage at home or the cabin, or you folks with undeveloped hunting property. I need one. I've got a boat I want to put in one. I'm so sick of the mice getting in this boat every single winter. Stop into one of the locations before you rent or purchase it. Choose the options, pick out your container, and then sign the papers. By the way, AnywayStorage.com, like I said, they offer modifications for the 20-footers and the 40-footers, roll-up doors or shelves, smaller service doors, windows, you name it. They can pretty much do it. And when you're there and you're going to buy, be sure you ask about the GL special. Check out this website, then make plans to acquire your very own secure storage shipping container. AnywayStorage.com.
Here is John Heidt.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. A pair of weekend storms hit the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area. There was some street flooding, power outages, and damage to lots of trees. Xcel Energy says the storms knocked out power to about 20,000 customers, with winds at MSP reaching 62 miles an hour. Limbs blocked some sidewalks in Minneapolis, and streets were flooded to the point where some people were using paddle boards.
When did this happen?
Minneapolis.
When were the winds 60 miles an hour?
62.
When, John?
Friday night into Saturday.
No,
they
were.
They were bending pretty good in my neck of the woods. I'm north of you.
No, there wasn't anything like that.
No bad weather.
Nope, not a thing. So it didn't happen.
Gotcha. Okay. DFL State Representative Cedric Frazier today announcing he's running to lead the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. That comes as current Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty announcing she will not seek re-election. Frazier said he has secured the endorsement of Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and is now seeking the endorsement of the DFL party. According to his news release, Frazier began his career as a public defender in Hennepin County before working in public education. From there, he went on to become New Hope's first Black City Council member. He said he was then elected into the House of Representatives, appointed by late Speaker Melissa Hortman to serve as the vice chair of the Public Safety and Judiciary Committees. He is also right now serving his third term in the Minnesota House of Representatives. Minneapolis police responding to 4 shootings in a little more than 4 hours between Saturday night and early Sunday morning, ranging from the city's North Loop neighborhood to the Stevens Square neighborhood down to the Powderhorn Park neighborhood. One of the victims, a 79-year-old woman, is believed to have been the unintended target of a bullet that came in through the window of her home early Saturday morning, according to police. A Minneapolis Police Department spokesperson said investigators do not have evidence that would connect any of the 4 shootings. One shooting involved a dispute, another appeared to be a targeted shooting, then one that involved the woman in her home, and the other shooting involved a man who said he was just walking in the early morning hours, heard a gunshot, and was hit. All the victims of the shootings are expected to survive. A man accused of shooting 5 law enforcement officers west of Princeton back in 2023 is set to go on trial this week. 66-year-old Carl Thomas Holmberg faces a total of 16 charges ranging from gun and drug possession to attempted murder of a peace officer. Law enforcement officers went to his house in Benton County October 12, 2023 to execute a drug warrant. As officers tried to carry out the warrant, court documents state that Holmberg started blindly shooting through a closed bedroom door, hitting 5 officers. All of the officers survived, but 2 were severely hurt. The shooting led to an hours-long standoff before Holmberg was eventually arrested. His wife later told investigators he'd told her that it was his day to die. Charging documents note that officers found multiple guns and meth in the home. Jury selection in Holmberg's trial is set to get underway today. When the jury is seated, opening statements will start. More than 50 witnesses could testify in court.
Is this the story where they have the picture of the above-ground pool, they've got the trailer, a couple of RVs laying around, and it just looks like a complete mess of a property?
Where's this?
Where this guy was he shot 5 officers.
This guy
randomly.
looks like he should be sitting in a tree in Appalachia playing a banjo.
He looks guilty.
Yeah.
Star Tribune reporting a veteran mountain bike racer was critically injured when a pickup truck driver with faulty brakes failed to yield on a Bloomington street and hit the man as he pedaled to work at a bicycle products company. 49-year-old Jeffrey Hall of Farmington was hit by the pickup shortly before 4 a.m. Tuesday last week on westbound Old Shakopee Road at Normandale Boulevard. Emergency medical responders took Hall to HCMC with significant injuries. The pickup driver, 49-year-old William Vick Jr. of Columbia Heights, was turning right before dawn from southbound Normandale onto Old Shakopee and hit Hall, whose bicycle had all the required safety lights and reflectors. Officers arrived at the scene and cited Vick for failing to yield and operating a vehicle with brakes not in working order. Court records show that Vick's driving history includes 5 convictions for driving after his license was revoked, 3 for driving without proof of insurance, and 1 each for driving an unregistered vehicle, having expired tabs, disobeying stop signs, and speeding. Hall has been a mountain bike racer for many years, competed in the mountain bike series. Melissa Hall, his wife, posted in an online fundraising campaign that her husband was riding to the job at Quality Bicycle Products when the pickup hit him about 1.5 miles shy of his workplace of 27 years.
Joe, you know how you have your rule about motorcycles that the textures got you off the bike?
Yep.
And I am in no way blaming this guy that unfortunately was hit by a guy that probably shouldn't have been behind the wheel. My point is, over the weekend, I saw 2 different people riding their bike on highways of 60 miles an hour speed limit with very little room for error, right?
Bicycles?
Bicyclists.
Well, they're idiots.
Well, that's my point. And some of these guys have become so emboldened. I'm thinking, I'm on Highway 13 in a 60 mile an hour zone, and you're not even facing traffic. You know what I'm saying?
They're asking for trouble.
What are you possibly... And I'm paying attention behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And a story from the Pioneer Press that Joe alluded to earlier. State Fair Police requested a safety alert to be sent Sunday morning after 3 armed and violent people robbed gas stations in Roseville and Little Canada, assaulting a clerk during one robbery and leading police on a chase that ended in a crash in St. Paul. A Facebook post by the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office said the first robbery occurred at 6:54 a.m. at a speedway in the 2200 block of Rice Street in Roseville. The second, 8:34 a.m. at the BP gas station in the 300 block of Little Canada Road in Little Canada. And the third robbery, in which a clerk was assaulted, happened at 9:05 a.m. at a BP gas station in the 3100 block of Cleveland Avenue in Roseville. Police later spotted the getaway vehicle, chased the suspects into St. Paul, where the vehicle crashed near Pierce Butler Route and Pryor Avenue North. One of the 3 suspects was arrested. The other 2 escaped into the woods. Deputies and canine teams looked for the 3 men.
At which point, they alerted me and said, nothing going on here at the state fairgrounds. We're all clear. Thank you.
Why don't we take a
Never
quick
really
break
works
here?
to run into the woods, though, either. They're gonna send the dogs after you, and they're gonna get you.
I'm telling you, everybody runs into the woods.
Yeah, I guess.
Say our friends at the American Experiment will be at the fair this Saturday talking about education, specifically about these schools we hear so much about are not as good as they once were and not as good as you'd think. And it's not just Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's statewide. It's a shame. For a second year in a row, less than half of Minnesota students are meeting grade level benchmarks in reading and math. Something isn't working. We tried more money, which only begets more money. We've tried more bureaucracy. These failed academies are so top-heavy in administration. It's time to try something that puts the families first. So American Experiment has a program called 7K for Kids. It's a campaign to give parents control of $7,000 a year per child to choose the best education for their kids. Public, private, charter, homeschool, whatever fits. Learn more at 7kforkids.com or AmericanExperiment.org, or visit American Experiment at the State Fair this Saturday. It's I said Saturday in a funny way, didn't I?
You really did.
It's time for real school choice and a better future for Minnesota's kids. AmericanExperiment.org.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
I'm going to take you way, way back to, I think it was actually a week ago today. We got to talking about home coffee storage on GL.
Yes, we did.
And the bags that the coffee comes in, when we get it from customroasting.net, not just any bag. Turns out the bags that they use have a one-way valve on them because after roasting the beans, the coffee releases a gas, and that valve allows those gases to escape without letting any outside air back in. And if you keep these bags sealed, they have a very heavy-duty Ziploc seal on them, and you store them at room temperature away from light and heat, they'll be just fine on the shelf at home. Sure, you can put it in the refrigerator or the freezer, but you certainly don't have to. Good tips from customroasting.net. They are the supplier of fresh, fine coffee to both GL and the Krabby Coffee Shop. Get yourself to the website, check out everything you possibly can about the business, and then click on that GL tab, and you're going to see a pretty dandy sample bundle that features, we'll start with the darkest first and work down to the lightest. My favorite, the French roast. They also have Boundary Waters blend, the Morning Blend, and the Columbia Excelso. I've had all of them, and each one is absolutely wonderful. Not only is this the freshest roasted coffee you can possibly get, it stays fresh thanks to those bags once it arrives at your home. A fantastic cup of coffee at a very reasonable price. CustomRoasting.net.
Thank you, Kenny. I stopped in this weekend. I was in Buffalo, and I said hi to Steven, the roaster. And,
what did you think of those facilities, John?
Very nice, very cool, and looks like it'd be just a fun place to hang out, and it smells so good.
Do coffee roasters have a name like wine people have names, sommelier, and I wonder if roasters have a name.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I also picked up my favorite. I've told you this is the Boundary Waters. I picked up some of that. Had it the last 2 mornings. Oh, so good.
Did it make you think you were up north?
Up north?
Yeah.
Not really, but it tasted very good. In news, national and international, Ukraine's future hinging on a hastily assembled meeting that's underway at the White House, even as we speak. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky brought a large group of European leaders with him to show U.S. President Donald Trump a united front against Russia. The European political heavy hitters were left out of Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday in Alaska. Monday's showing today is a sign both of the progress and the possible distress coming out of the Friday summit, according to people watching the war. Ukraine's interests are a rare and sweeping show of diplomatic force from the European leaders. There are security guarantees for Ukraine being talked about on the table for discussion, a possible NATO-like security guarantee that Ukraine would need for any peace with Russia to be durable. Putin opposes Ukraine joining NATO outright, and Trump's team claims the Russian leader is open to allies agreeing to defend Ukraine if it comes under attack. Also up for talk, the annexation of Crimea. Sunday night, Trump suggested that Ukraine could not regain Crimea, which Russia annexed illegally in 2014, setting off an armed conflict that led to the broader 2022 invasion. Also being talked about a potential peace accord. The president has abandoned a push for a ceasefire, arguing instead for a full peace agreement, a position held by Putin. Moscow has long said it's not interested in a temporary truce and is seeking a long-term settlement that takes the Kremlin's interests into account. The president's surrogates argue the pivot is due to strong progress that was made at Friday's summit.
What does Putin want in exchange for a full peace agreement? Do we know that?
Real estate.
Crimea. He wants Crimea. He wants to keep Crimea.
He wants about 25. I don't trust him. I think he'd take every country he could find.
He's going to get it and just keep pushing the next
He wants Alaska. He wants Poland. He wants Hungary. He wants anything. He's nuts.
Well, the Poles are going to sick.
He's insane.
Protesters in Israel taking part in a nationwide strike yesterday to demand a deal that would result in a ceasefire with Hamas and the release of hostages who remain in Gaza. It was called the Day of Stoppage. It blocked roads and closed businesses, marking an escalation in the population's growing frustration after 22 months of war. Police responding to Sunday's demonstrations blasted crowds with water cannons and made dozens of arrests. In one instance, officers stopped several protesters from trying to break into the central Ayalon highway in Tel Aviv, leading to a confrontation between them, during which a protester was forcibly arrested.
I liked it better when Russia was behind the wall. No, I want to go back even further.
The Politburo?
Well, I guess it's the Cold War. Yeah, the Cold War. They were the evil bear, the Russian bear. You didn't want anything to do with them.
You know when everything
changed? And you properly hated them.
I'll tell you when everything changed. Rocky IV. When he fought Ivan Drago and the Russians started cheering for Rocky in the middle of Russia. It was Cold War was never the same after that. Never the same.
Okay. I've got to look something up.
Ivan Drago.
Who was in the presidency? Who's the president then?
It would have been 78? 79?
No, that's
1985.
That would have been
Reagan.
And who brought down the wall, or who is credited with Reagan?
Changing everything.
So what
Brooke, I think you just hit a home run.
So what you're even suggesting is next time Trump meets with Putin, he should bring Sylvester Stallone, where he can give the infamous speech.
Basically, the Politburo reversed their findings against America and freedom, and as the crowd started to chant for Rocky, they said it's over. So let's just give in, whatever Reagan wants. Gorbachev, this is over.
Joe, hand over the gavel.
Sorry.
We have a new mayor.
Sorry, brah. Oh, dear God. I don't know if I want this role. It's very
Rudy Perpich.
intense.
Rudy Perpich had Gorbachev in town here, remember?
Yeah. Gorby was at the,
We were more interested in
he was
in
ringside,
the old lady,
wasn't he?
though. Yes.
Yeah.
New York City police are looking for multiple gunmen after 3 people were killed, at least 9 wounded in a mass shooting at a lounge in Brooklyn. The NYPD said yesterday up to 4 shooters opened fire inside the crowded Taste of the City lounge in the Crown Heights neighborhood overnight in what appeared to be gang-related violence. NYC Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch said officers found multiple shooting victims inside the lounge shortly before 3:30 in the morning Sunday. She said it's believed the gunman started firing at people during a dispute. 3 men pronounced dead, 9 people hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The victims include 9 men, 3 women whose ages range from 19 to 61 years old. A story we talked about a bit already. President Trump this morning on Truth Social with a long post pledging to issue an executive order to end the use of mail-in ballots and voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. That move would likely spark legal challenges by many states in the U.S. Ironically, this morning we also found out Newsmax will pay $67 million to settle one of the last outstanding defamation lawsuits against a news organization for airing false claims that the 2020 election was rigged. Denver-based Dominion Voting Systems, the same voting technology that got $787 million from Fox News over its election coverage, brought the lawsuit against Newsmax. A trial was scheduled to begin in October, but they settled before that happened. MSNBC is changing its name in a spin-off from Comcast's NBC Universal. The cable network will rebrand as My Source News Opinion World, or MS Now, staffers are told this morning.
Ms.
Now. The shift is part of an effort to distance the network from its NBC heritage and establish its own identity ahead of the planned spin-off of the bulk of NBC Universal's cable networks later this year. CNBC will keep its name, which originally stood for Consumer News and Business Channel, and is working on a new logo. The new names and brands will be rolled out later this year ahead of the completion of the spin-off.
Do you know why, Joe? Do you know the source of why MSNBC decided to go this route? Because they were featured prominently on Friday's edition of Mysterian Roundup.
That's true.
We led to that change.
Because on account of you know why?
Right.
We had it here.
Exactly.
My Snow, their new name.
My Snow. Researchers have discovered 8 new genes that are associated with schizophrenia in the largest exome sequencing study of the disorder ever conducted. The breakthrough made by scientists at the Center for Neuropsychiatric Genetics and Genomics at Cardiff University will provide, they say, new information and improve the understanding and future treatment development for people who suffer from schizophrenia.
Would they find a few screwy rats and they came to this conclusion?
No, they actually, well, I'll give you the numbers now if you want them.
Yeah.
They analyzed genetic data from 29,000 individuals with schizophrenia, 104,000 without the condition, and 3,500 families affected. Researchers focused on detecting rare high-impact mutations in protein-coating genes.
Thank you, John.
That are more
That's
common.
enough.
You got all that?
Yeah, I get it. Thank
protein-coating
you.
genes and all that. You understand all that.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
She does.
Yeah.
When Angelica Radevsky lost her spouse unexpectedly earlier this year, the West Virginia nurse and mother of one made a bold decision. Well, that has surprised some people online. She preserved and framed a piece of his tattooed skin.
Oh, boy.
35-year-old Angelica and her
Above
husband.
the danger zone.
Yeah, right? Okay.
That's a no-go zone.
35-year-old Angelica and her husband TJ had been lifelong friends before they married in 2021. In March, after TJ died suddenly at the age of 55, Angelica didn't want a traditional keepsake. Instead, she wanted to frame her husband's skin. She said in a video, "I knew we were going to do this because we had talked about it before he died." Of the more than 70 tats that TJ had on his body, they chose to preserve his Pittsburgh Steelers helmet design.
Ew, no, accounting for taste here.
It wins again.
Complete with skull imagery and finished off in his beloved team's black and gold colors. It was his first sleeve tattoo and a favorite of his and their sons. Preston's the kid, who ultimately made the final call, telling Mom, "This is Dad."
Who carved it off?
Well, I'll get to that, Joe.
right.
It's a long story.
After the funeral, Angelica used a marker to outline the exact tattoo they wanted to preserve on TJ's right arm. A mortician then carefully removed the skin, placed it in a special preservation kit provided by the Ohio-based company Save My Ink Forever, and sent it off before TJ's body was cremated. The preservation process took about 90 days. When the company returned the framed tattoo encased in glass and set in a dark wooden frame, Angelica says the moment was overwhelming. "I was shocked when he handed it to us, and it was a good shock. So many things you didn't know you were missing instantly felt better."
Well, what the hell? If it works for you.
So, John, you're making it seem like this happens routinely, that there's a company that actually does
you can
this.
get it. You can get them.
How about that mortician? He's no dummy. Well, I could get it, but it's going to cost. Oh, you got a helmet? Yeah, it's going to cost a
I
little
would
more.
turn it into a chamois so you could use it to dry the car.
You know what
Kenny,
I would
you're
have
very
done?
What would you have done?
Because on account of, you want to know why?
Why?
I would have just, why not just have somebody draw it and frame the piece of paper?
Just maybe take a picture.
There you go.
Just a photo.
Yeah.
The only part I thought was strange was that she had to go to his body and outline it for the guy.
Yeah,
to
with a
cut it
marker.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
Like when you're having knee
you're,
surgery, you always have to
your
write on the
your
line.
skin framers aren't the brightest bulbs. You got to really get right.
Which one did he want? The Steelers
No, you got to
tattoo?
get the specific item. You know.
I've tanned like raccoon hides before. I wonder if it's any. You need some salt and.
Well,
some
now you're
cold
raising an
water.
interesting question. You have to treat the skin, obviously, with something to keep it
Right.
90
skin-like.
days. It took the company
Well, I
90
suppose they had to
days.
treat it with, formaldehyde or
Is
something.
that you?
Oh, God. Quiet!
Why do I hear pounding?
Go ahead, John.
Okay. And a French woman said she had a job for decades where she had nothing to do.
Kind of
sound
like
good?
the Minnesota
Hey,
legislature.
Matthew. How do you like that?
Hand raised. Hand raised.
She says she hated it. She described it being psychological torture.
It's lonely.
59-year-old Lawrence van Wessenhove is suing Orange, which is among the largest telecom companies in Europe, as she claimed that she went through a couple of decades in a phase that can be stated only as forced inactivity. That, according to her lawsuit. Although she received a full salary, was left without any roles or responsibilities. The worst part, she said, was there wasn't any human connection. And she says that scenario harmed her mental health and left her feeling invisible as well. She told French outlet Mediapart, "I was paid, yes, but I was treated like I didn't exist." Reports say that the company began in 1993, the story, when she came in with lots of hopes about having an illustrious career. She was even trained as an HR assistant, which further motivated her to thrive and eventually grow within the business. But she was then diagnosed with epilepsy, and, well, she was shifted from her role. The company gave her a secretarial position to accommodate her health. However, she had nothing to do. She would sit at home, basically, but still the paychecks continued. She
I
spoke
would
to
have kept my mouth shut.
Gaga has the place to go, right?
She spoke to French broadcaster FTV, where she described herself as being, quote, an outcast secretary, reflecting on the process of how her well-being was compromised with a lack of meaningful work. She said being paid at home, not working, is not a privilege. It's hard to bear.
Not that I would suggest this, but if she was just at home, why wouldn't she just go get another gig and keep the checks coming in and keep your mouth shut?
Do something. I worked an overnight gig for about a year, and when the work dried up, instead of just sitting there, I would bring snowmobile parts in. I studded a track one night. I reclipped it. I built a race sled in the back room.
And you were getting paid.
Getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah. Well, John, that's very interesting.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You wanted the pup. Huh?
Anacano, you want to know why?
Well, I just got an email from a famous cowboy chef.
Oh.
A cowboy cook. Well, you gave me the email.
I did.
This is from Jeff. There's a famous cowboy cook named Kent Rollins.
All right.
And he doesn't live here. But he has heard of the Pronto pup, and he said of those kinds of dogs, this is the best one.
When you see the cowboy chef, what are you seeing? The big spoon?
He's got a big
stirring
pot.
up the beans.
Big pot. And he swears by these Pronto pups, which, of course, is the official food on a stick in Garage Logic, and the first ever food on a stick at the Minnesota State Fair. It was founded in 1947 by the Karnas family, and it's still owned and operated by Greg and Wayne Karnas, two GLers with 8 locations throughout the fairgrounds, and it's still the best value at the State Fair, where prices can be daunting. Not for your Pronto pup, baby. They still hold the prices down. They're great. You can eat about 10 of them during the fair. Make sure you support Pronto Pups this year. It's the official food on a stick in Garage Logic. Oh, it's early.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Let's talk about our good friends at North American Banking Company. They've been in business since 1998, and here's the deal. They had one simple philosophy back then in 1998, and that was this. It was banking done differently, and they've made that commitment ever since then, and they get it. They understand that there are no shortage of banking options here in the Twin Cities. That's why they want to take care of you, your family, and of course, all of you small business owners, because they want to have that personalized touch. And also, very interesting to note here that they are locally owned and operated. And that means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. So this helps all of you business owners solve problems quickly and also expand your business with confidence. And I'm a happy customer. I decided to take my business to North American Banking Company because I was tired of just being a number to my big national bank, and I think that you will be happy as well. So your first step can be checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's bank done differently.
What the hell was that?
North American Banking Company member FDIC is an equal housing lender. God bless you. Also, Joe, worth noting here, I know we don't do this on the show, but we have a very loyal listener. His name is Hans. He's a frequent town council member, daily listener. It's his birthday today, turning double nickels, but we don't wish people happy birthday on the show.
Especially 55. Why would we want to wish him happy
Sorry,
birthday?
Hans, we can't do that today.
We don't do that. No. 55.
Thank you.
There's a truck driver in the state of Florida named Harjinder Singh. Killed 3 people.
Oh. That's the funny name.
The guy's driving looks like an 18-wheeler, and he decides to take a U-turn on the freeway.
Oh. Have you seen the video?
Yeah. And it killed a driver and 2 passengers in a minivan that slammed into the truck.
He was in a semi-truck?
He was in the right lane.
Okay.
And he wanted to use one of those little turnaround spots on the median of a freeway that the coppers use to go back the other way. And he tried to do that, and he... it turns out he's an illegal immigrant.
We got a lot of those running semis out on the freeways these days.
It's a 37-year-old woman from Pompano Beach. and a 30-year-old from Florida City and a 50-year-old from Miami. The motorist was arrested Tuesday in St. Lucie, Florida. The actions taken by the defendant while operating a commercial tractor-trailer are shocking and criminal, according to the department in Florida. 3 people lost their lives as a result of this recklessness, and countless friends and family members will experience the pain forever. Harjinder Singh is in custody on state vehicular homicide charges and immigration violations. He will no longer be able to damage and destroy the lives of Floridians and visitors. At the conclusion of his state charges, he will be deported. The Florida Highway Patrol remains committed to enforcing both state and federal. Now, if it happened in Minnesota, we'd have a parade for him, but in Florida, they're going to do the right thing. The motorist, Singh, had arrived in the U.S. illegally in 2018 and been here ever since. Got a license in California, I believe.
There was another one very similar to this that happened in Illinois around the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the problem. You never know when this kind of danger will strike.
I was having a conversation about this very story with a, let's just say, a truck driver that's very close to me, and said every single guy and gal that has been issued a CDL, Class A, what have you, should just automatically be retested every year.
But how can you give them clearance if they're a new...
It's because so many companies right now are so desperate for drivers that they are willing to just kind of lower the bar, so to speak. And the thing is, I was telling Joe this before the show today, nobody hates these horrible truck drivers more than good truck drivers. It's the cop theory. Nobody hates bad cops more than good cops.
Those good truck drivers call them flip-flops because they're up there in that cab wearing shorts and flip-flop sandals.
And Kenny, I saw one today, the 494. I drove right by it, the guy that jackknifed it on the westbound from 169.
What a danger that is to mom and the kids driving to somewhere for a game or something.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind when you're out there on the freeway, and get by those guys fast.
Yes.
Don't linger in the left lane when you pass.
Nope.
Get on them and get by them.
Either that or hang way back. But I agree. You don't be around them.
No.
Which is, and we're not insulting you, hail fellow well-met and women truck drivers.
No, we're
talking
a lot of them that
about these
listen.
crackpots who shouldn't be driving a truck. Only because... Wait a minute. Did you see the front page story on the Star Tribune Sunday about Belter who shot Hortman?
Yep.
I guess we're blaming it on his religion.
Yeah, I saw that.
He belongs to some... What's the word I want? He belonged to some evangelical outfit that wouldn't be my cup of tea, but I doubt if they're inspiring murder. You know, why not just realize you have a real bad crackpot on your hands?
Yeah.
Why do they want to try to find answers? He's just a psycho.
Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa, from our friends, the Traveling Lymans. You can go on their website, by the way, worldwidewaftage.com. Mm-hmm. And you can see where they live and the animals and the whole deal.
Pictures and stuff.
That's right. On this day...
Joe, today is August 18th.
Well, this is quite a story. It's almost a story that... who's the comedian? I can't think of his name. He's dead now. We loved him. The Moth with the Light.
Norm Macdonald.
This sounds like a Norm Macdonald story.
Okay.
1929 on this day, a 350-pound bear was killed in the Hotel Duluth's lounge.
Really?
Yeah. You can see him. He could go on forever about that.
How'd he get there?
Well, the bear followed a truck driver, Arvid Peterson. Arvid Peterson, and Arvid had a shipment of fish in his truck.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because he drove into the city with the fish. And,
picked up the scent.
Well, the bear was attracted by the smell of the food, the fish, and went right into the Hotel Duluth's coffee shop. See?
They serve fish at the
because
coffee
he was
shop?
still smelling the fish on Arvid, the driver. And the bear said, "The hell, I'm getting in there." And he broke through the window of the lounge. And the hotel's night watchman, a guy named Albert Nelson, and an unnamed local resident, they went after the bear.
Okay.
They hit it with a chair and a hammer.
That's awfully bold.
They did. And then,
like a lion tamer?
Kind of. That was a kind of a lion tamer thing. And then you got others who were standing around, and they didn't know what to do. So they called the police, and Sergeant Eli LeBeau showed up. And he shot the bear after first trying to corner it unharmed. And he was going to bring it back to the woods.
Oh.
See.
235-pound bear.
No, man. 350.
350, and he thought he was going to take that bear.
He wanted to, well, you know what? Eli he was conscientious. He tried to save the bear, and the bear was the third killed in Duluth that year.
Why not just have some fish, put it in a different vehicle, and just say, come on, bear, let's go this way?
Now, I don't know where Norm would take that, but if you gave Norm that paragraph, he would have come up with
It would have been an 18-minute story.
Wonderful, wonderful story. Now, the other thing that's interesting to me about this is if you get a bear in Duluth now, seriously, because once a year you get a bear in Duluth story.
Rolling around.
And what are we told about that?
Climate change?
Oh, yeah, we're told we've ruined their habitat, the earth is warming. No, I got news for you. The bears were in the Hotel Duluth lounge in 1929, okay? In the lounge. They weren't just wandering around town.
We've got them in Little Canada.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They always have been.
Right.
I think there's a bar in downtown Minneapolis dedicated to bears. Well, that might be a different deal.
That's a different deal.
No, I think it's
BEAR.
On this day,
Joe, today is August 18th.
see that bear, that was 1929.
Almost 100 years ago.
That's right. 100 years ain't what it used to be. Because on account of, you want to know why?
Right.
I'm getting older. That's why. On this day,
August 18th.
in 1993, Dan and Steve Butner of Roseville completed the first north-to-south bicycle ride across Africa. They set their rear wheels in the Mediterranean Sea, 272 days and 11,836 miles before rolling their front wheels into the Indian Ocean.
Wow.
In addition to such natural obstacles as the Sahara Desert, jungles, and mountains, not to mention no bike paths, the men faced malaria, civil war, thieves, and a lack of supplies. Boy, that was quite a trip, isn't it? They went north to south through Africa. They probably passed right by where the traveling Lymans are.
I don't think they were there yet, though, were they?
No.
No.
What was there a prize attached to this? Was there?
No, I just think they did.
Personal accomplishment.
People do adventures. Yeah.
Can I go back to the bear story for you for a minute?
I wish you would, John.
Well, I went and looked it up at another place.
Yeah.
There's some added dimensions to it. Albert Nelson, the watchman, who
He was the
attacked him.
night watchman, yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't the first to encounter the bear.
Oh.
The bear, a well-known local who was recovering from drinking the night before, was in the bar.
Yeah.
Felt called to action and grabbed the hammer. So the drunk went after the hammer, or the bear first with the hammer.
Well, he was nursing his hangover, probably.
Yeah, and then Albert came in, and that's when things escalated to what you said.
Yeah.
And that bear, by the way, was stuffed and preserved.
At the time?
Yeah, and it was preserved. It was in the Black Bear Lounge for a while. It then changed hands and now resides in Grandma's Saloon and Deli in
Really?
Canal Park. So if you see a stuffed bear at Grandma's,
I might drive up just to see the damn
that
thing.
Would be cool. That would be cool.
I'll be darned. On this day,
August 18.
in 2007, flash flooding killed 7 people and caused $67 million in damages in Dodge, Fillmore, Houston, Olmsted, Steele, Wabasha, and Winona counties.
Oh, I don't remember that. Do you guys?
do. People were evacuated from Rushford, Stockton, Houston, Elba, Minnesota City, and portions of Winona.
Wow.
I'm surprised you remember it. It didn't happen in St. Paul.
Yeah. No, I didn't. There was no flooding in St. Paul.
But Joe does report it didn't rain at his house.
No,
that
it
day.
didn't. I don't know where you guys got those winds. There was nothing. on this day in sports disappointment history.
Aug 18.
And I think this aptly qualifies as a disappointment.
All right.
What happened on this day, August 18, in 2009?
2009.
August 18.
Something with Metrodome related, because that was the last year of the Dome.
No,
not
it was
fair
not the
related,
Metrodome.
too early.
Not the Metrodome.
Twins related.
All news cameras were focused on it.
Brett Favre.
Yes, you got it.
Brett Favre.
Well, you say Favre. Brett Favre arrived in the Twin Cities for the first time. And it ultimately proved to be a disappointment.
No, they did great in 09.
They weren't any good. He didn't.
He didn't have any text pics?
We didn't hear that. What did he say?
I don't know what he's saying.
He didn't show anybody his...
He's still babbling, and I can't understand what he's
joint.
Pat's in the back room, and he's... Didn't show anybody any pictures of anything.
What a great old reference.
It's like my wife. Every time I leave the room, she starts talking.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
Joint
I thought that was just
and dinger
my
are
wife.
two old school terms.
You know, how do you handle that, Kenny? And then I'll give you my answer.
I used to make a big deal out of it. Now I don't hear her. I just don't acknowledge it. Today she was talking to me in the yard as I was driving away. I looked in the mirror. Her mouth is still going.
Oh, wow.
If I'm in another room and she says something, I don't say a word. I finish what I'm doing in that room, wherever I am, and then I walk back to proximity and I say, I was in another room. I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I don't do that anymore. I used to.
I'm getting ready to give that part up, too.
Yeah.
Because what difference does it make?
Do you get where she turns the other way, 5 feet away from you, turns the other way and starts talking? And then I get, you need to get your ears checked.
Yeah, no.
We could sit in the same room for 2 hours and not say a word. As soon as I'm walking out of the room, she starts in with a soliloquy.
Yeah,
I know, but why is it that they can softly mumble while they're in another room, you don't hear, and it's your fault? That you don't
And
hear
every
what they
time
said?
she says, "What did you just say?" she heard me clearly.
Yeah. They know. That's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, I wonder if I get the time and the temp.
Thank you, G. Eller.
Yep.
Do us a favor, if you have not done so already, subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel. That's right, you can find us on YouTube where you can watch the show each and every single day. You can also see full segments, video shorts, there's behind the scenes footage, but it's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube and search Garage Logic on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. You can find out more and sign up today at the website, which is, of course, garagelogic.com.